Super. Good night, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, which is about unlocking the power of apprenticeships and helping you obtain funding and support. My name is Nicola D'Souza. I am the Hub Director for the Federation of Master Builders, and I'm delighted to be your host today. At the FMB, we are committed to supporting our members and by providing them with guidance, resources, and the opportunities that they need to thrive. And we recognise that many of you, regardless of your location, are eager to grow your businesses to stay competitive. And we firmly believe that apprenticeships are a key strategy to achieve this. This is why I've partnered today with South and City College Birmingham and the CITB. And while our speakers today are based in Birmingham, the insights and advice that they will be sharing are applicable throughout the country. Today, we've got two fantastic speakers joining us. First of all, we have Tracy Kerr, a business consultant at South and City College. South and City College is home to the largest construction training facility in Europe, and Tracy will be sharing her expertise on the subject, on the support that colleges can provide to employers like you. We also have Jenny Samuels, an advisor from CITB. Jenny will be discussing the various funding packages and practical support that's available to you, including the new entrant support team and other funding opportunities that are available to help you upskill your existing staff. Throughout the webinar, please feel free to ask questions using the chat box. We'll be addressing as many as we can through the Q&A session at the end. As your FMB Hub Director, I'm always happy and available to help you connect with local advisors and access the resources that you need to make apprenticeships a reality for your business, regardless of your location. So without further ado, let's dive in and explore how apprenticeships can help benefit your building company. Tracy, over to you.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for that lovely introduction, Nicola. As Nicola said, I'm Tracy and I work with South and City College Birmingham, a large college in Birmingham. We have 7 campuses across the city, including a construction facility in Bordesley Green. We have 12,000 students, 5,000 of those are 16 to 18-year-olds, and we serve some of the most deprived, disadvantaged areas in our region and throughout the West Midlands as well. And we're very, very proud of the fact that we promote and we are inclusive for all. So I'm going to deliver just a short presentation just to let you know some of the help and support that is available to you through your local colleges. Every college in England will have a business development and employer engagement team attached to them, and they will have access to lots and lots of funding, different streams of funding to be able to help and support you in different areas. So it's really worth, contacting your local college, because even though it's what I'm going to say from a South City College Birmingham perspective, your local college will be able to help you achieve some of these things as well. So I'm just going to share my screen now. Bear with me a second. Okay then, here we go. So this is me, and I think Nicola, at the end you'll be sharing the presentation, won't you, Nicola, and our contact details, so there's probably no need to write those down now, but there's myself and Jenny presenting today. I'm always available if anyone's got any questions after this presentation on email or via phone call as well. So I'm just going to touch on, well, we're just going to touch on 5 things, and that's recruitment, placements, apprenticeships, training and funding. Okay. So in the college, we have a large construction facility and we deliver many construction programs. And we are the largest construction college in the Midlands, and we're the 3rd largest construction college provider in the country. So in a week, we have about 4,000 learners attend day and evening provision. So these are learners, these are apprentices, these are part-time learners, full-time learners, entry-level construction courses, right the way through to level 6 programs. And our learners are aged between 14 and 65. I think our oldest apprentice at the moment is 61. So we cover all construction areas from level 1 to level 6 to degree level, and we engage with about 400 construction employers nationwide. And we also work with CITB, and myself and Jenny have been working together for a number of years now, where we work together to help and support various employers. So the kinds of employers we support and how sole traders, 60% of our work, where we work with employers, 60% of those are sole traders. Okay, and micro organisations. We help charities, small employers, large employers, and also public sector organisations. So CITB carry out lots of market research every year, as do we, in various surveys and things. And we'd like to know what the challenges and issues that you're all facing really in construction, so we can tailor our offer to best help and support you moving forwards. And these are some of the things that you tell us you're struggling with currently. Skills shortages, massive. Bridging those skills gaps is a real challenge, isn't it, now moving forwards? Equipment and material shortages, training programs not suitable for the industry, the lack of industry knowledge and expertise from training providers, attracting new talent into the business, so that's recruiting new trainees, aging workforce. The average age in construction at the moment, by the way, is 57 years old. That's shocking, isn't it, when you think of that? Increased competition, technological and organisational change, uncertainty in the economy, rising labour, equipment and material costs, profit margins, recovery from the pandemic, and the withdrawal of grants and funding. Obviously, each business is different and each business will have their own challenges, but these are some of the generic ones that just keep coming through. So we've adapted our offer to try and address some of these issues and challenges to help construction employers, including a fully funded recruitment service for qualified and trainee apprenticeship roles, new courses and a training facility that we're developing. We're building a 1930s house next to a net zero house, and these are going to act as electrification and training rigs for all the retrofit and the decarbonisation electrification programs for the industry. Construction Skills Alliance. So most colleges do this. So they will have boards of employers, and some colleges do it by sector. Others just get loads of employers around the table. So we can listen to you and tailor our offer to ensure we've got the relevant courses and we're able to develop a pipeline of people ready to enter the industry for you. Bespoke training packages for apprentices and existing staff, including leadership, management, IT and office administration. If anyone is over the age of 19 and live in the West Midlands at the moment and earn under £32,000 a year, pretty much anything, we can fund anything for them. And this is through the adult education budget. So it's not just about apprenticeships. There's lots and lots of streams of funding colleges have got access to, millions of pounds worth of funding that companies and employees can tap into. So it's not just construction courses, it can be back office, business administration, digital skills is a massive one at the moment. So if it's anything non-construction related, don't think it's not funded, because it is. It can be funded through colleges. We offer a fully funded placement service for employers. This is where our students go off and do a period of work placement to help companies with short-term help. Increased funding for organisations taking on apprentices, £9,000 per apprentice, and also an additional £1,000 from the government with the age grant, 16 to 18 age grant. Funding and new courses available to upskill existing construction workers, and advice and guidance on other areas where help and support is needed, and signposting to where you can receive that support. So if a college, if a construction company contacts me and they ask for something we don't deliver, or they're out of area, then I will deal with that local college and act as that broker to make sure that I've got those right introductions and another college can move something forward for them. So this is quite shocking. I'm sure you know all this already, but a growing construction industry is set to create 225,000 jobs over the next 5 years. That equates to 25,000 extra workers needed in the West Midlands alone by 2027. So all types of training, and especially apprenticeships, will be vital to delivering the pipeline of work. So student placements, why are these popular? We have a huge pool of talent in our construction building, full of construction guys and girls who are very keen to get out there and do work experience with organisations. And this is part of their qualifications that they're studying on as well. And often these placements turn into jobs. I work with a lovely colleague called Linda. She's our officer, work placement officer. And I'll get an excited call from Linda now and again saying, oh, Jack's at so-and-so company and they really like him and they've asked how they keep him and they want to take him on as an apprentice. So placements can often act as a try before you buy really with people. If you didn't want to sort of go into a full-blown apprenticeship straight away, you can choose to work with the college on placements, and they often lead into jobs and apprenticeships with organisations as well. So what do we deliver? This is what we deliver, but as I say, colleges will have their own unique offer. But generally speaking, in the world of construction, it's the trade, construction management as well. So there's plumbing and heating and gas, property maintenance, tiling, brickwork, roof, ridge and aircon, construction management, level 3 to level 6, building services engineering, civil engineering, electrical installation, and site management. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different types of construction course and apprenticeship. Every college, as I say, is different. So what we offer, somebody else might not offer, and vice versa. A lot of people, I think, a lot of organisations think that colleges just do the entry level stuff and the trade stuff, and universities do the degrees. Nothing could be further from the truth. Colleges deliver right the way up to degree level programs now, so they're competing with universities. So what do our employers say about the experiences of taking on apprentices? As I say, it's not an exhaustive list, but these are just some of the things that we get fed back to us. Employees feel more valued, loyalty, commitment and retention improve. The college found me or recruited me my apprentice and regularly visits us to help and support the apprentice in their job. Developing new skills and knowledge in different technical areas and business areas and help when tendering for new work. We get a lot of organisations say to us, well, to tender for this work, we need to have apprentices or we need to be thinking about taking an apprentice on. And that helps organisations secure work, contractors secure work. Skill shortages and gaps can be filled in terms of succession planning with the ageing workforce, thinking about bringing new people in when people retire. A better corporate image, excellent in training and development, social responsibility. So a lot of organisations add our logos and everything to their organisations. So it's apparent to everyone that they invest in apprentices. Improve team performance, improve staff understanding and commitment. Employers are familiar with new legislation and comply with regulations. Better use of technology, and obviously funding is useful as well. They did pull it post-COVID, but now the funding is sort of back again through CITB now. So I'm just going to describe an actual case study where me and Jenny worked together. So we've got a company who, let me just minimize that. That's it. So we've got a sole trader who carries out work on residential properties, and they approached the college wanting help with taking on a young person. So they approached me in the first instance. Never employed an apprentice before, so they needed to know everything about it and how it all works. But this organisation in particular works with many subcontractors. They wanted advice on what they needed to do, and they also asked what funding is available to support them and what multi-trade courses we offer. So I explained that grants are available to support them through CITB, and it's free to join as a small company. And the government grants of £1,000 as well if they're 16 to 18. And also the back into work grants when the new apprentice does a period of work experience with them before they start. We'll come on to this in a bit more detail later, guys. But the funding aspect of it. I explain that a trial or work experience is essential to see if they both get on. I explain all about the Digital Apprenticeship Service Account, PAYE, Employers Liability Insurance, and the pay of the apprentice. And I also explain that there's a property maintenance day release apprenticeship available where their apprentice would attend one day a week for 2 years. And I explain that we can recruit good candidates through the college and externally across our construction networks too. They interview and then they trial our shortlisted people. So they decided they'd like to proceed and they worked with us to create a JD. So I worked with them to create this. And then Jenny from CITB contacted the company and registered them for CITB to ensure they received the grants. The college is promoted the opportunity, and the company interviewed 6 candidates. College found and screened. They liked 2 of them, so they both did a trial of work experience, and 1 was taken on as their first apprentice. So the apprentice is doing well, and college assessor visits them both regularly. They're happy with their apprentice and pleased they've taken him on. Since then, they've referred 3 companies they work with to us, and 2 of these have apprentices, and 1 are happy with taking our existing students on work experience because all they need is short-term help. So what has this resulted in? Funded recruitment. The recruitment was all done. £11,000 in grants, college support, CIT support, and advisors when the company want advice and guidance, whenever, really. And it also works the other way. So equally, companies approach Jenny. So this particular company approached Jenny and they wanted to take on brickwork apprentice and a carpentry apprentice. Jenny explained about the grants and they're quite happy with that. Jenny explained that a trial is essential to see if they both get on. So the first thing that happened there was they trialed, obviously, the person they were thinking of taking on. Jenny contacts Tracy and I explain all about the digital account and everything, the insurance they pay the apprentice. I explain that the day release course is available where they would attend 1 day a week for 2 years. That's in carpentry and brickwork. I explain that we can recruit good candidates if they wanted to through the college and externally across the networks, and then they can interview and trial our shortlisted people. But this company identified 2 of their own local people that approached them. So we didn't need to go through recruitment after all because they identified the people themselves. Jenny from CITB contacted the company and registered them for grants, and the apprentices are doing well, and the college assessor visits them both regularly. They're happy with their apprentices and pleased they've taken them on, and they want another apprentice in September, but this time we're recruiting for them. Okay, so it can work both sides. They're my details, contact details, and Jenny's details again. So I'm going to hand over to Jenny now. And she's going to tell you a little bit about CITB and all of the member benefits there.
Thank you, Tracy. So my name's Jenny Samuels. I work as a customer engagement advisor for CITB within the West Midlands team. I'm currently covering Birmingham and Solihull within that team. But at the end of the presentation, there are links to your local provider, or you can get in touch and I can put you in touch with your local provider. So CITB, do you want to click it again, Tracy? Sorry, Tracy.
Yeah, it's a little bit slow, guys. Sorry, I'm clicking away. Click.
Okay, so CITB, you may have heard of us before, but our purpose is to support the construction industry to have a skilled and competent and inclusive workforce now and in the future. You may be aware of the CITB levy. So that is basically based on the total wage bill to include your payroll and CIS. We do have reductions for smaller companies, and if you're a company with a payroll of less than £120,000, there won't be a levy to pay. But that can be put into more detail by your advisor once you get in touch if you're not already registered with CITB. Okay, so what we offer at CITB, we offer a number of grants to include short duration course achievement grants, and that's for any short courses you do. We also offer qualification grants, which are things like MVQs and NEBOSH qualifications, and we offer a grant of £600. And we offer grants for long period qualifications, which are HNCs, HNDs. Can I just say at this point, we also offer grants for apprentices. So we offer an attendance grant at £2,500 per year. So over a 2-year period, that would amount to £5,000. and then on achievement, we would pay the company £3,500. At the moment, we have got an uplift in the short period qualification grants, which we'll see on this slide now. And that is because we have got an aging workforce, and a lot of the workforce will have industry accredited CSCS cards. Now, to address this issue, sorry, I've gone a bit ahead. To address this issue, we have had an uplift in grants. Some of the courses that we currently pay grant for are things like CDM awareness, fairness, inclusion and respect, SMSTS, SSSTS, and they are paid within whichever tier they fall into. So the shorter course is at £60 per course, and the longer course is going up to £240, and some £140. Refresher course is £70. Right, so going on to the uplift we've got in grants at the moment, as I just mentioned about industry accredited qualifications, we've done an uplift and grant for any MVQs of a level 3 and 4 under the supervision ones that are listed there. We're paying an uplift of £1,250 grant for that qualification. And if somebody wanted to do a management qualification, which is like a level 6, 5 and 7, we're paying £1,500 for that grant. Okay. Right, this is the Interwork grant. So this is a new grant. It came out last September, and this is to support employers with taking people on a work experience placement. So if you as an employer decided to offer 1 week's work experience placement to an individual that was currently attending a level 2 trade course or a T level, CITB would then give you £500 for providing that work experience for that week. If that person was successful and secured an apprenticeship with you, we would then pay you a further £1,000 as long as that person had been either on PAYE or on an apprenticeship with you for 3 months. We also have the Skills and Training Fund. So this is another pot of funding where we can support employers with accessing additional money, which will cover the full cost of their qualification. For an example, if you were to do an MVQ, we would pay you £600 back in grant. But if we applied for funding prior to the qualification taking place, we would pay the remainder of the cost of that qualification in Skills and Training Fund. And the next slide will just give you an idea of what that looks like. So as you can see, this is an SMSTS course. If the course costs £495, the grant that you would get back on completion of that course is £240. So that's still leaving £255 that you can apply for funding for. As I say, if you just applied for that funding prior to the course taking place, you would get the funding, and then you would get the remaining of the costs of grant at the end of the course, which would then cover the full cost of the course. The reason I'm talking about the other grants as well as the apprenticeship grant is because you can put your apprentices on bolt-on courses within your organisation and still access the grant and funding for them, aside from the apprenticeship grant that you would be entitled to anyway. There are a number of questions that we include on that form when you complete it, but you will be fully supported by an advisor. We're also helping large businesses accessing funding for training. So these are businesses with employees of 250 plus, and what we do, we ask them to put a leadership and management plan in place for succession planning or to train their current staff, and we support them with funding that way. For more information, it would be good to have a conversation with your local engagement advisor. CITB also have some free courses. So these are e-courses that you can access. So you just go on to CITB e-courses, and you will see some of the free courses like fire safety awareness, fire safety in buildings and temporary works, general awareness, that you are also can access on the CITB website. Right, coming soon, which is exciting news, in June, the West Midlands team are launching the Employer Networks. The Employer Networks is another stream of funding where CITB advisors will engage with employers. We will ask what training they want, and then what we will do, we will book that training for them. We will pay 70% of the cost of the training, and 30% of the training will be paid by the employer. The nice thing about the Employer Networks at present is that it has got some flexibility, so we will be funding some things that are currently not funded by grant. And some of those things at the moment include first aid and manual handling, and possibly HGV as well, if that's used in within a construction role, job role. The Employer Networks will be going forward made up by a steering group of local employers who will then feed into that group to say what they would like funding in their local area. So we'll have two groups within the West Midlands, one for the Shires, one for Birmingham, Coventry and the Black Country, and we will look at what the local need is to employers that we really need to be funding. And that's our presentation. There's some links there to the West Midlands team, but as I say, if you want to know, if you're not in touch with your local advisor, we can always find the details for you and pass you on to them. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, both of you. I just, if you've got any questions, you can either raise your hand, which should be along the toolbar at the bottom of your screen, or if you want to type into the chat box with any questions. But before we go with answering them, I would like to share a quick illustration of how the financial support that's being talked about can make hiring an apprentice very cost effective for you. So just let me share my screen. Here we go. Right, I will break this down step by step. So the minimum wage, this is about hiring a young apprentice for your business. So the minimum wage for apprentices under the age of 19 is currently £6.40 per hour. If you employ an apprentice for the required minimum of 30 hours per week, then that equates to £192 per week in wages, or £909,984 per year. So over the course of a 2-year apprenticeship, your initial total cost would be £19,968. However, this is where the nationally available grants and funding come into play. So first of all, you have the potential Interwork grant of £500 for hosting your work experience student. And then there's the employment grant of £1,000, which is awarded after the 3-month period of direct employment. Next, there's the government apprenticeship grant, which is paid through the college, which provides an additional £1,000. And then finally, there's the CITB funding of £8,500, which is made up of the 2 years attendance grants at £2,500 and then your completion grant at £3,500. So when we add up all of these grants and funding options, it comes out to a total of £11,000. So if we subtract that from your initial cost, then we end up at an actual cost of £8,968 to employ an apprentice for 2 years. If we spread this cost over the 2 years, assuming that we've got a 52-week year and a 5-day working week, we find that the actual cost to you of an apprentice per day is just £17.25, which is a remarkably low figure when you consider the value that an apprentice will bring to your business in terms of productivity, skills development, and future workforce planning. So I hope that's given you a good idea. We can move on to questions. We've got one from Ellis saying, thanks for the information, really helpful. It's a pleasure.
Nicola.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you, Nicola. Can
Have I
everyone
gone?
hear
Am
Nicola?
I still there?
Mm.
Super. For a business based outside of the Midlands, is it best to approach CITB first or the local college? Or did you say that we can contact us and you'll have links to a local education facility? So I can put you in contact with your local CITB advisor. And also, Jenny, did we talk about the Nest team?
Right. No, we didn't on that presentation, but what we do have in place is our new entrant support team, who, if you are looking for apprentices, will help you with supporting you with taking on an apprentice and supporting with claiming the CITB grants for that apprentice, and they work with the colleges as well. So we will have a Nest advisor as well that we could put you in touch with.
Yeah, so I've got a list of all the Nest advisors, so
Yeah.
I can certainly help with that.
Yeah.
And then also the Nest team, they have a mentorship program as well. Is it so that if you're not that confident in, or the person that needs to mentor that apprentice isn't feeling that confident, then they support the mentors as well as the apprentices. Is that right?
Yes. So they have a program that they're rolling out to support employers to mentor apprentices whilst they're in the workplace, and it's a good course. It's very popular, and it's just to really help you understand the standards and everything else that's involved with taking on an apprentice and supporting them from beginning to end.
Fabulous. We've got another question from Stuart. We are very interested in hiring some apprentices and getting additional to the team. I would like additional training to all of the team. I would like to be part of the CITB, but I have no idea how to do this.
Okay, so
Where are you, Stuart, in the world, in the country? Where is Stuart? Do we know? Worcester. Wow. Okay.
okay, that's
Maybe
brilliant.
yeah, that's our patch, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jenny?
so Worcester, your advisor would be Sam Elford. So she would be able to support you in registering as an employer and getting you started and supporting you with all your training needs, really.
Stuart, I'll drop you an email with her email.
I could put her email in the comments if that helps.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Jenny's on it.
If you email Sam, she'd be more than happy to help you.
Oh, that's lovely. Well done. Thank you. We've had some sort of feedback from perhaps some of my board members, where how do they find an apprentice that really wants to do construction? I think sometimes there's a bit of feedback that people have sort of taken on apprentices, but they've left construction altogether. They haven't even stuck. So how do you find somebody that's really motivated to be in construction?
I would always advise, from a CITB perspective, is to speak to your local colleges. They've got young people who have started a diploma course in college and they've stuck it out for a year, 2 years, and they're really willing to get a job in construction. And those are the people who have shown some commitment. I mean, I'm sure Tracy will have a bit more to say about that.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the students.
Can everyone hear me okay?
I can.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. So it's very normal for our existing construction students to secure apprenticeships. And what we do for many organisations is we don't recruit externally, we recruit internally. And what that means is they'll give me an idea of the kind of people they want and in what trades. And then the tutors will make recommendations for students who they feel are work ready. And then we put them forward to companies. They do some work experience and then they transfer from a diploma or from their existing course onto an apprenticeship. So that's really common and that happens a lot. So I'd urge you to contact your local colleges because they have construction guys and gals in those campuses that are really keen and hungry for jobs and apprenticeships. So if you work with those colleges, and it's in the college's best interest to do that, because colleges are measured on outcomes and performance in terms of destination. So colleges have to state what happens to students after they've finished a course. And if we can ensure that they're going into jobs, then that's good for the student, it's good for us, and it's good for you. So that's really good. Can I just add one thing, Nicola, about the presentation, your slide there about the cost of an apprentice? A lot of organisations, for whatever reason, want a 24-year-old or a 26-year-old, or this, in some cases, the apprentices are going to be over the age of 18. Now, I just want to point out how that affects funding, really. So the government will give you, this is not the CITB grant now, all the CITB grants there regardless of age, okay? If you identify an apprentice and they're 31 or 26 or whatever, and they're over the age of 18, then you won't get the £1,000 from the government. That's only for 16 to 18-year-olds. And if you identify an apprentice that's aged 21 or over, there's bad news, good news. So the bad news is there's normally 5% of fees, the apprenticeship fee to pay. Okay, so the government would fund 95% of the training costs. And if the apprentice is over 21, they would incur 5% of those fees, which equate to between 400 and 800 quid, depending on the programme. But there's something called levy transfer. So what this is, large organisations that pay the mandatory apprenticeship levy, this is the bill that they have to pay the government. So it's taxed every April, where their payroll is over 3 million. They pay, I think it's 1.5% of their payroll, and that goes into an account. And those organisations can only use that money on apprenticeships. So very, very large construction companies will be paying 5 million to the government in apprenticeship levy every year. And lots of organisations don't use that levy, don't use all of that money. So what they do is donate it for the good of the sector. They donate it to smaller organisations. So that 5% that is there that you've got to pay, essentially, you'll get that covered through levy transfer. So a donor, you log on to your digital apprenticeship service account, and it's all done through that. And a donor, a different employer, a gifting employer, would pay that 5% for you. I just wanted to make it clear that the grants are still there regardless of age. 16 to 18-year-olds, you get £1,000 more, that's it. Yeah. But the person, you don't care how old the person is, do you? You just want the right person in your business. And sometimes they're over the age of 18. You won't suffer financially for that. It's just that you won't get that £1,000 age grant. Sorry, Nicola, to jump in there.
No, that's brilliant. I've just learned something there, because I've heard about the levy transfer scheme a few times and I haven't been able to get my head around it. So you've just taught me that. Thank you very much. One more question from Ellis. We are looking to recruit a new discipline, electrician, to our business, but of course we wouldn't be able to take on an apprentice as we don't have the qualifications to be able to mentor and teach them. Are there any apprentices that complete an apprenticeship but don't end up with work placements that we could offer opportunities to? Or is that not very common, as I suppose most apprenticeships lead to job opportunities?
Tracy, I think you do have full-time electrical students within the...
We do, yeah, we do. You broke up the last 30 seconds of there. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry, Nicola. Was it the electrician?
Yeah.
Just run me through the last 20 seconds.
So Ellis's team don't have an electrician. So they're saying, are there any apprentices that complete their apprenticeship but don't end up with work placements that they could offer opportunities to?
Absolutely. Yeah. Every year we have qualified electricians very keen to go into work. And we actually have companies come into the college and meet the apprentices or meet the students before they leave campus. We have jobs fairs and stuff. Most of our construction, because of the skill shortages, most of our construction students, they leave with jobs because we know the companies and we bring the companies in. I would say, though, to have an electrical apprentice, there needs to be a qualified electrician, because obviously the apprenticeship they're learning, they do need that specialism, and they do need to be mentored through the apprenticeship. Does that make sense? So it's worth contacting your local college, and if we are your local college, make contact with me and I'll move things forward for you.
Brilliant. Question from Sarah: how long after the apprentice has completed their apprenticeship do we receive the achievement grant?
So the achievement grant will be applied for by the employer on receipt of the EPA certificate, the endpoint assessment certificate. So once we've got the evidence, that will be submitted to CITB along with the application form. And I think it's a couple of weeks turnaround before you get the achievement grant after that. So as soon as we've got the certificate, yeah, that would be processed.
Perfect. It's from Surinder. Very interesting, guys. Thank you for this. Just out of interest, is there any cost to the business in registering? I'm presuming that's with CITB. And secondly, who would I need to get in touch with first, college or CITB?
So what you can do on the CITB website, there we have got what we call a levy calculator. So you could calculate what your levy may look like. In the first year, you're not charged a levy, but going forward, you need to do a levy return with CITB, which will then calculate the cost depending on what I mentioned earlier, your PAYE bill and your CIS bill. The PAYE bill is calculated at 0.35% and your CIS bill is calculated at 1.35%. There is a calculator on the CITB website and you can do an estimate prior to registering with CITB. Insofar as who do you contact first, I would say that would be up to you. I would contact your local CITB advisor who could advise you because they work with all the colleges within your local area.
I've just popped the link to the levy calculator into
the... brilliant. Thank you, Nicola.
Okay. Bronwyn saying, I was told by one college that we had to provide the apprentice, but I have no idea where to start with that. So it's good to know that some colleges can provide apprentices. I think it's probably I think sometimes people are using their very local college, but maybe it's worth sort of putting feelers out and just looking at what else is available in the local area.
Yeah, it is, and it's good to get a comparison. And if you do want a number of apprentices, I know there's consistency, and that's really important. But when you're first starting out, and if you do want numerous apprentices, just do it with 2 different colleges to begin with, because then you understand how things work. You can measure that and then go with the best one at the end of the day. And it's healthy competition for a college. If they know you've got apprentices with other colleges, they'll want the other ones, so they'll work even harder to get them. But every college should have a recruitment team. It's normally based in business services, employer engagement, or the apprenticeships team. And what colleges do is they post onto the National Apprenticeship Service website for you on your behalf. But employers can do this as well. You can do everything through your digital apprenticeship service account that colleges can do. So if you wanted to upload an apprenticeship vacancy yourselves, if you've got a digital apprenticeship service account and that takes 5 minutes to set one of those up, you can do that. You've got the flexibility and freedom to do that.
And presumably,
the beauty about working with the colleges, we can do all that for you and set the training up to make sure it all sort of works in a timely manner.
So the benefit of posting.
Sorry, Nicola, you're saying?
No, yeah, I did interrupt. Sorry. The benefit of posting onto that. What did you call it? It's the government website where you can advertise apprentices.
It's the government website. Yeah, website. Dear.
But that's where you would
website.
That's where you would encourage your students to look, right?
Yes. Yes. So absolutely.
That's
oh God, yeah, because they log on and they'll search for an apprenticeship and they'll search and then they can do it by postcode, by trade, or whatever they want to do. And there's 700 standards now. So there's 700 different types of apprenticeships. The first one is abattoir worker, would you believe? AB.
Wow.
It's an apprenticeship in how to become an abattoir worker. So, you can be a doctor through an apprenticeship now. From day one, you're paid in a hospital, and it's exactly the same as med school. So apprenticeships now are really, really taking off. And some of the occupations that were previously excluded through apprenticeships, you can now do. Who'd have thought you could be a doctor through an apprenticeship?
That's brilliant.
Amazing.
If it doesn't work out at the FMB for me, I can always be an abattoir worker, right?
An abattoir worker. Yeah. Can you imagine that apprenticeship? Oh dear.
Could I just add to that, Tracy, and say we do have our new entrant support team as well, the NEST team.
Yeah.
So if you get in touch with your Nest advisor within your area, they can also support with finding people, probably at your local colleges, who would be interested in taking it, taking up a position as an apprenticeship, or work experience. I think is a good route for you to go down initially.
Lovely. Another question is quite a good one. Do the grants apply to new apprentices only, or can existing apprentices still benefit?
Yes, you can apply. We will only backdate 52 weeks. So if you're currently a CITB registered employer, yeah, you can apply for grants, and we will backdate 52 weeks. Again, your local Nest advisor will help you apply for those grants.
Yeah, I'd really recommend speaking to them. We have quite a lot of members who aren't claiming the grants that they should be claiming.
Right, yeah, that's very important. And their role is, they're a new team, and their role is specifically to help employers claim the grants for the apprentices.
Perfect. Bronwyn, I have popped, brilliant. I've popped your advisor in there as well. Oh, I think we've reached the end of the questions. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for those insightful presentations and for asking all of these attendees questions. I'm sure that everyone's gained a clearer understanding of how apprenticeships can benefit their firms and how to access the support and funding available. But as we wrap up, I just want to remind you that the FMB is here to support you. So if you have any further questions, or if you'd like to discuss your specific situation, then please, you can reach out to me directly, and I'll be more than happy to assist you and signpost you to the relevant place. I am on holiday after tonight until the 22nd of May, but I will keep an eye out for any emails from this group. Once again, I'd love to thank our expert speakers, Tracy from South and City College and Jenny from CITB, for sharing their knowledge and time with us today. And thank you all for attending this webinar. I hope you found it valuable, and now that you're a little bit better equipped to unlock the power of apprenticeships for your business. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thank you, Nicola, and have a lovely holiday.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.